Hello, and welcome to another edition of the College Football Mafia Network's Big Freakin' Friday. I'm your host, Nathan Bomber Brown, still sitting in the seat, haven't gone anywhere yet. With me are my two co-pilots and guys I just generally like to hang around with. That'd be Wild Ute and Moen. How are we doing, guys?
Doing good.
Fantastic.
Fan-damn-tastic. I love it. So we got a good show for you guys tonight. We're going to do our week three previews. Sorry, this is a new reality. My tongue has been carved. It's going to get carved more, so I'm going to have to slow down my speech, which isn't the worst thing in the world. The rest of the show, we're going to talk about the new Pac-12, week 3 preview. We're going to talk about some news that happened out in ACC Florida State land in the last couple of days. And then, of course, we'll get to our favorite part of the show, which is our world-famous Q&A. So we're very glad and happy to have everybody with us tonight. Just so you know how to get a hold of us, look at our profiles underneath our name or pictures and follow us on Twitter. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube to that College Football Mafia Network. Turn on your notifications on Twitter and on YouTube. And last but not least, make sure you give us a thumbs up, a welcome, a shout out in comments, and let us know how we're doing because we really pay attention to that stuff. And then, of course, if you have it in you, we'd love to have you as a member. Moen, how do they do that?
Go down to the little cash icon in the bottom of the chat window there. You can become a member, leave a super chat, or if you're feeling generous, you can gift a membership to the channel as people like Ricky Tungate and Ryan Willie have done.
Yes.
So, and we thank them for that. We thank everybody for any support you can give us here on the College Football Mafia Networks. It allows us to keep the lights on and finally get the phone system working.
There we go. Did the technician come to your house today, Moen?
No. I did that all by myself.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I appreciate it. I thank you for everybody to be here tonight. So, Ute, what's on your mind as we go into week 3, kind of rivalry 2, right?
K-State and KU. That's what's on the mind tonight. Big games tonight, and both of them are going to be in battles. UNLV, KU is actually going to be quite the fight, and that's going to be a tough game to win. And then obviously we've got the huge game, K-State, Arizona, going on tonight too. So Big 12 football is on the docket. It's awesome. Super excited about it. Will the Kansas schools win? We'll find out here.
I love it. Moen, what's in your mind tonight?
Backyard Brawl,
Again?
Apple Cup, Civil War, and the Battle of the Shillelagh.
Which one is that one?
That's Purdue, Notre Dame.
Okay, that's the one I don't care about. All right. I'm all for both the Kansas schools, Backyard Brawl, and of course you cannot walk away from the Apple Cup or the Civil War. These are some of the finest rivalries you'll get in all of college football. And if you're not paying attention to them, you're really not in the game. So we would recommend, as you go through our picks tonight, you'll get to figure out kind of where we're putting our focus. And hopefully you guys will have some time to watch some of those games after our show is over tonight. We also want to recognize we're up against a bunch of other headwinds, other shows going tonight. So we appreciate every single one of you guys for being here. And that'll always be the case. I don't care about anybody else. We're just going to do what we do. And I think that's really important. We stick to who we are. All right, let's do shout outs, eh? You guys all right with that? All right, let's do this. First one, Timothy Green in the house. Member and becoming an OG very much. To me, what college football and sports in general is all about is rivalry games. Well, again, Bob Thompson said so. I definitely hope we can keep them going in the future. Let's go Mountaineers. Beat Pitt 38-28. Let's talk about this comment right here. What do you think about college football losing rivalries, you?
It sucks. Don't lose rivalries. That's what makes the game fun. Man, you remember all the Utah-BYU rivalries back in the day?
Of course.
Palmer?
Right.
I remember storming the field and stuff and, getting pushed around by some of the BYU players and pushing them back and stuff. The good stuff, right?
I think rivalries are the heart and soul of college football.
You have to have them, right? That really is the emotion of the game. College football is such an emotional game. Young men playing rivalries. It's like the peak sport, a rivalry game. Like college football rivalry games are the peak of all sports.
I agree. What do you think, Moen?
Yeah, there's no reason that we need to lose these rivalry game, guys. Iowa and Iowa State have been doing it cross conference for 30 plus years.
Yeah.
I think these schools need to sit down and write out long-term contracts to continue these rivalries. We should have an Apple Cup every year. We should have a Civil War every year. Should have the Holy War every year. Now that it's in conference, you probably will.
Yep.
But we should have West Virginia Pitt every year.
Yeah.
Just sit down and work it out, guys.
It really comes down to that, doesn't it? Just being selfish and not willing to wheel and deal. I completely agree. Let's see here. We got Jackson Johnson checking in saying, "What's up, College Football Mafia Nation? Good to have you here. Thanks for being here, Jackson. We appreciate you giving us your time." Ryan Willie. What else can you say about Ryan Willie?
The OG,
one of the best guys, one of the best guys you could talk to on Twitter or anywhere else. Fantastic guy, and we're really appreciating him being on the show. Obviously a member. He says hi, College CGM. What's that one?
I probably missed on the F and the G.
Oh, okay. All right. That's what I'm thinking too. Nathan says hi. Hi, guys. Appreciate it, Nathan. TF Williams. Hey, all. Go Noles. I hope we get off the schneid. Holy cow. Does Florida State win this weekend, guys?
Yes. Florida State wins this weekend. It's going to be a tough game. Memphis is a good opponent. But, hey, you're in Tallahassee. You've had a week off to digest what's happened over the last month. You get back on. You're going to get off the schneid. Don't worry, TF Williams. The Noles are back, baby. They're back.
Completely agree. How about you, Moen?
Yeah, I think they'll beat Memphis. I think they'll be able to handle them. If they don't, if that's a loss for Florida State, I don't know where you go.
He might be gone.
They just gave him that huge extension. I don't think you can get rid of Norvell that soon, but I think some coordinators might start disappearing off the staff.
That's usually what happens, for sure. You can't teach a quarterback to have touch, though. That's just something you got to feel. Literally, that's a touch feel thing. TF Williams checking in says UTSA, Texas State. Those are the two at the top of my list for pickups for the Pac-12. Now that it's been reorganized, we'll get to that in just a minute. What do you think about those schools?
I think they'd be okay additions. I don't think they'd be the primary additions, though. I would think that UNLV is still going to get a big cut.
Oh, you
right
do?
Here.
You do?
I do. I think that UNLV is like probably the next round. I mean, it's just the market. Can you escape away from Nevada? I think that's really important. You're going to look at Air Force too. Air Force, Tulane. I mean, UTSA might be an option, but I'd be looking at probably a Tulane, UNLV, Air Force beforehand for these two.
Moen, you wanted to say anything about these two schools?
Yeah, I don't like the new Pac-12. I don't like this idea of we're going to make. You know, it's one thing for big conferences to be cross country. They can afford it.
Right.
It's more taxing on people going to smaller schools for their family to travel.
So let me counter really quick. Let me counter. What if they go from 6, 8? I think 8 or 9 is the highest in any of the G5s. I think 8 is for the AAC. What if that goes to 15 or 16 million?
It's not going to with those schools. It's just,
I don't know. Maybe.
I think if I was the Pac, just try and stay regional. Grab UNLV.
Okay.
Grab another, maybe a Wyoming. I know there's not a huge clamor for Wyoming, but
okay.
I would prefer regional G5 conferences.
I appreciate that, and I think the reasoning is sound. It's a lot more expensive and everything along with it, logistics to go cross country. My idea, we're going to run through in a little bit when we talk about this in detail, but in my opinion, you build a big conference, but you break it into halves, both sides of the country, and then you get more money. I don't know. We'll see. It'll be fun to talk about. Anyways, I'd like to say congratulations to Oregon State and Washington State. They've been hanging in the wind. The ACC is not going anywhere anytime soon, I don't think. And now we're looking at the chance that the Big 12 probably wasn't going to pick them up either. I think it was a smart move. And I really think it was smart. We'll talk about it, though. Sorry, I did that one. Let's see here. We're jumping. TF Williams did his. Nope, I think the two I mentioned will be better ads. There you go. Daniel Gygax, another member, OG. I think he was on our second call, Ute. Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
Second or third? And it was you, because you didn't know how to say his last name. I remember. Yeah, that was awesome.
I learned the Gygax.
Exactly. I'm
You're the Lord,
ready to
Daniel.
watch West Virginia win the Backyard Brawl by 2 touchdowns. Oh,
Make it 4 touchdowns.
man, I would love it to be that much. I don't know.
Hey,
I
if
hope
you're
so.
up
How
3
about that?
touchdowns in the fourth quarter against Pitt, don't sleep on it.
Yeah.
Keep your foot on the gas. Don't pull a Cincinnati.
There you go. That was the worst for the Big 12. Skaven, yes. Another member. Thank you for being here, Skaven. Hello, gentlemen. GBR. Again, GBR. What is that moment? Help me
Go
with that.
Big Red.
Go Big Red. Thank you very much.
Go Big Red.
Daniel Dilly. I think it's Dilly. Apple Cup is staying in Seattle. I picked Washington on our picks. I didn't quite get enough points for Washington State, so I went for the win with Washington. Illini Ted, good evening, guys. Illini are peacocking tomorrow. Actually, I have to take that back. I'll have to look at my pick. I was thinking about the other poll I did. I'm not sure what I did on ours against the points. Stick around. You'll have to find out.
Yeah, we'll do the picks in a minute.
Yeah, no, I'm not rushing. I'm just in my head. I was like, wait a second. I don't think I did. Illini Ted, another member. Good evening, guys. Illini are peacocking tomorrow. Okay, let's do this right now. Of all the new direct-to-consumer, online, if you want to call them, digital supplied games, and all the different members, Peacock, it's just all of them. Which is the best one right now for production value?
Are we including YouTube TV, or are we just saying?
Yeah, no, YouTube, Amazon, whatever.
I go YouTube TV. You can see 4 games at once, jump from game to game, zoom in when it's a good play, zoom out. So
that's cool.
I hate navigating to Peacock, but the quality is amazing.
That's what I was going to say too.
It just the screen and everything. You feel like you're on the football field. It's fantastic viewing, but it's just such a pest to get there. And it's not Nelson rated, so every time you play on Peacock, it's not recorded as far as the viewership. So that's not helpful for really anybody. So I would not want to play on Peacock, but you're going to play on Peacock if you're the Big Ten. And so it's the Illini's time.
How do we think about Amazon right now for doing any games, football, college? They're not as high for me for some reason. I haven't been super excited with them. Anyway.
Thursday night football, like for the NFL and stuff, like again, good production quality, but just it lacks something. It lacks juice. There's something missing from Thursday night football on Amazon. Like what I noticed that Fox does really well is they actually inject a lot of the crowd volume into the games. And so when the commentators are talking, there's like people, like in the background, you can hear the rumblings and stuff. And it makes you feel like you're there at the game. It's exciting on Fox. But Amazon doesn't do that. Peacock doesn't do that. And they need to do that because it's pretty kind of boring sometimes just hearing the commentators just talk in silence.
I was just going to say Amazon's boring. That was the first word that came to mind for me. It's like, here's the game. Here you go. Moen, what do you think about you already said YouTube. Okay.
Yeah, I like YouTube TV.
YouTube's kind of a crossover, isn't it? It's its own thing, but it's also
they don't actually produce any games. They just rebroadcast. Right.
That's okay. Hey, what do we got here, Moen?
Harry Austin became a member. Thank you, Harry. I like that.
Thank you.
Let's give him
let's get him a good one.
Let him cook.
Let him cook, maybe.
Let him cook.
There we go.
Let him cook now. Let him cook. I said,
let Harry cook.
I love it. I love it.
The one thing I do want to say about Amazon Prime Thursday night games, Tua has got a concussion.
Oh Lord!
Every Amazon Prime game he has played.
You're lying.
I think it's a curse.
I think he needs to retire. That's what I think.
I agree with you. I think so
I agree.
too.
He's got the Steve Young thing, right? Steve Young had 4, and then he started the season at home, got hit once, and was done. That's what I think.
He's got guaranteed money, a lot of guaranteed money, so he can get out as a rich man and live a long life.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And that's what I was saying on Twitter. People were hammering me saying, who should be the final determiner of that? And in my opinion, the NFL needs to go back to the concussion thing that they did, invest another $1 billion and find out what they can do to actually create a standard that if they reach this many concussions, and this is the reason, it's automatic. You're retired. You get all your benefits, nothing hurt, but we just don't want you dying on the football field. That's what I would like to see. But anyway, NFL has lots of money. I don't know why they don't invest more into that. Clint Moses, our regular OSU, that would be Oregon State expert. Go Beavs. Pack pimping our CU hype versus CSU. Now only if Boise beats the Ducks. Isn't it interesting now that all of a sudden Oregon State wants Boise to win?
And Colorado State. I love it.
Yeah,
Let's go, Clint. Let him
Well,
cook.
Boise did not beat the Ducks because they didn't have a special teams coach.
He followed up with this out, and I'm not sure where to fit that into this sentence, but anyway.
Pimping out.
Pimping out. Okay. Anyway.
Your shoe.
Yeah, we'll talk about Pac-12 in just a minute. I know we keep saying that, but we need to get through all these shout-outs. Illini Ted says, I think KU wins big. Bounce back. All right.
I do not think so, guys. I hope you're right, Illini Ted, but I do not think KU is going to get out with a big win tonight. They're going to escape if they get out of this game. UNLV is a good team.
Yeah.
This is like upset city, I think. We'll see.
You and I both know how tough it is to win the Mountain West if you're not prepared, and UNLV is part of that. So
and they're good this year. They're really good.
Yeah, I agree. College football rivalries. What's up, fellas? How you doing, man? Good to see you. We need to get you on the show soon. Well, we really need to do that. We'll have to work that out. Send me a DM if you're interested in coming on the show. I'd love to have you come on and be a contributor. That would be excellent. But thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. Agree 100%. Keep rivalries alive. There you go.
Yep, there's the
Laura
man.
Laura Weiss, Texas Tech, checking in. Coy checking in. Laura and Coy are both members. Let's see here. Friends call me Sean. Good to see you. I hope you're feeling well tonight. ACC, SEC seems to work out their rivalries. Clemson, South Carolina, FSU, UF, Georgia Tech and Georgia, and Kentucky and Louisville.
Yeah. Nails.
It can be done. It can be done. Conference realignment doesn't signal the end of out-of-conference rivalries.
He also says Novell is safe. Moen's right. Don't say Moen's right. What are you doing? Coordinators and assistants on the hot seat. All right. We're almost to the bottom here. So many good comments, you guys. Keep them coming. We appreciate everybody being here. This will be our last one. Then we'll get to the news. Harry Austin says, sorry, let's go see you Buffaloes. Despite the loss in Nebraska, still a lot to play for Colorado, but the season could turn real quick if they don't beat the Rams, which is tough. If they go 0-3, I think they only win 2 or 3 games. What do you think about that?
I think this Colorado State game, just like you mentioned, Harry, is everything. It's going to tell us the trajectory of the season. Nebraska is a good football team. They were kind of like exactly what Colorado didn't want to face. Good trench play, physical, at home, crazy environment. You got to get this one, though. Colorado State, rivalry game. You've got more talent than them. If you don't win this game, it's going to be major concerns. You need to see the results. You want to see the results. We want to see the results as Big 12 supporters. Go Buffs, get it done. Let Shador throw it for 10 touchdowns. 10 touchdowns. All
right, you want to add anything to that, Moen?
I don't see that happening.
Okay, all right. That's an easy way to put it. I'm not going to talk about any more of the Pac-12 stuff until we actually do it. We're not doing that now, though, because we're going to go straight to our picks. Moen, you've got the floor, brother.
Yep, we got to do our standings first.
Yes, standings. There we go.
Week 2 results. Bomber went 6-2, Wild Ute went 6-2, Pickles went 6-2, followed by Becky at 5-3, myself at 4-4, and Rock at 3-5.
Ooh.
For the season rankings, we've got Pickles and Becky tied up at 11-5. Bomber is at 10-6, and the rest of the field is at 500, 8-8.
Not too bad.
Not bad at all. Yeah, I'm happy with it. I'm happy where we're at, Moen.
I don't get Nate. You are one of the luckiest people ever. Like with these picks. I mean, like
I'm not lucky.
Last year, this year, this is the spread picks. These are 50-50 calls. You're a lucky man.
Okay. We can call it luck if you want.
Skills.
Let's get into the picks for this week, guys.
Yes,
so
please.
We had a game last night. We did the Arizona State at Texas State game. Everybody won that except Rock and Rant.
Yep.
Arizona won by 3 points. They did cover. Or Arizona State, excuse me. Tomorrow we've got Tulane at Oklahoma and 13.5 points. You're the only one who believes that Oklahoma can win by 14.
Let's break these down really quick, Mo. And as you're going, let's just do them one at a time.
Okay.
Is that okay? Can we do them one at a time? Okay. So Arizona State, Texas State was last night. Texas State is building something for real. And if they can sustain that over 4 or 5 years, they're going to be highly attractive because it's a big school in Texas. So I think that was great. I was worried they weren't going to cover, though.
Wow. Hey, Texas State, if they get in the Mountain West, if that indeed happens,
Yeah.
wow, look out, right? Like this has a lot of momentum right now. And a lot of funding, a lot of NIL support in that program, a lot of talent. It could be a terror, right? It really could.
Owen?
Texas State.
Texas State should have won this game last night. They had an inopportune turnover.
Yeah.
Changed the outcome of this game that allowed Arizona State to pull ahead by a field goal. Arizona State was very close to losing this game. They were down 14 points at one point. Texas State isn't a joke, but Arizona State showed some weaknesses last night. So we'll see if they play up against some opponents that actually are able to exploit it.
All right. The next one was Tulane.
Tulane at Oklahoma. Oklahoma struggled last week against Houston. Tulane almost upset Kansas State. This week, Tulane goes to Oklahoma. They go to Norman. They are 13.5-point dogs.
That's just too many points.
That's a 14-point win for Oklahoma. Just screams a 14-point win for Oklahoma. Oklahoma played horrible last week.
They did.
They turned it around. It's a home game. Tulane had a hard-fought game, heartbreaking loss versus the Cats. Turn it around. I just don't know if they're going to be emotionally as up for this game as last week and stuff after that heartbreak. I think Oklahoma wins by, comfortably. Like they can blow.
Like they want to make a point.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Here is my fear. Oklahoma wants to make a point, and Tulane is still let down over that loss last week. But
maybe
13.5 points, I can't.
2 touchdowns.
Look, you could only score 16 against Houston, who is just
bad.
So I got to take the points on this one. I took the green wave.
In my mind, I think all they do is recycle the game against Kansas State, play the exact same way except without a couple mistakes, get rid of the targeting hits for one thing. And Oklahoma this is a trap game. They almost lost last week. This week they should pummel Tulane. Next week they have a conference game. So I think it's a horrible spot for Oklahoma. At the same time, I will say it's possible I'm very wrong.
All right. Next game is a big out-of-conference matchup for the Big Ten. Alabama at Camp Randall, Wisconsin. Wisconsin is a 15.5-point dog in this game.
Unreal.
It is a lot.
It's a lot of points. That's a lot of travel for Bama. I'm just not a big believer in this Bama team. They've got a lot of changes still. Wisconsin might not be the most talented team, but getting them at Camp Randall is going to be the difference here. Alabama probably squeaks it out, but it's going to be tight. And I just don't see it being a 3-possession game.
I think those are both very fair assessments, and it is 3 possessions. That's really important. You mentioned that. You got to get to 16, or I guess a couple touchdowns with 2-point conversions, but that is very, very, very hard to do. At the end of the day, I think this is Kalen DeBoer's breakout game. I think he's going to empty the tank and say, "Look, we need to be ready for the SEC next week. This is how we do it." And I think this could be. It could get nasty. So we'll have to see. I could be totally wrong again. That would be possible.
Moan, what do you think about this game?
I like it because of the points. I think Alabama wins this game, but the way they struggled against USF last week, they can't afford to struggle like that against Wisconsin. Wisconsin can actually put some defense together, so they'll have to watch out for that. So the points, I think Alabama wins the game, but I don't think they cover 15.5.
It is a lot of points.
What happens if Wisconsin wins this game and they're sitting at 3-0 now? Like if they win this football game, Man, it's going to be hype train for Fickle.
Yeah, they got to
Company
be
over there.
top 12. If they beat Alabama, I don't
I will
know.
tell you exactly what happens. On
What?
Monday, Paul Feinbaum comes out and says Alabama was not a top ranked.
They were overrated for the whole last season.
They're
Oh,
actually
man.
a mid team, and they were, it was
Okay.
just Ulster screwing it up. Speaking of SEC teams,
Let's
Boston
go.
College at Mizzou. Mizzou is a top 10 team.
Yep.
Mizzou is favored by 16.5 points.
Yes.
3 possessions. That's
Yeah.
a lot of points in this Boston College team under Bill O'Brien. They run the football and they play good, sound defense. I just don't see them losing by 3 possessions, guys. Goes back to that. Like, I can see BC go down, but it's probably going to be a touchdown in 10-point game. It's hard to see losing by 17 or more in this one.
Moen?
I will agree. Bill O'Brien, former SEC coordinator. I think he's seen a lot of what Mizzou does, and Eli Drinkwater, I can't remember his name.
Drinkwitz.
Drinkwitz. Thank you. I wanted to call him Drinkwater.
Nice.
Yeah, I think he's seen a lot of what Mizzou can do. 17 points. I can't see it. So I think Mizzou probably does win, but I got Boston College. I'm taking the points. Pure and simple.
At the end of the day, I think this is another make good game. I think Missouri comes out and empties the tank and goes out and actually does something. So Boston College, in my opinion, Florida State is way down. I haven't seen anything fantastic out of them. Where does their offense all of a sudden keep up with an SEC team that actually knows how to play defense? I just don't see it. So we'll find out.
We'll
Apple
see.
Cup.
Bomber, you're on the opposite end of quite a few me and you this week. So
Right.
Yeah,
we'll see.
I don't know. I have gut feelings sometimes. We'll see.
Speaking of gut feelings, this is going to be a game where a lot of guts are going to be spilled on the field. Washington State at Washington, although this is not in Husky Stadium, this is in the Seattle Seahawks Stadium.
It is.
And Washington is considered the home team. Washington favored by 4.5 points. I like Washington State. I think Washington State wins outright. I think they've got more skin in the game on this one, as it were. I think they want to go out there and prove that they shouldn't have been left behind. Win one for the pack. Whatever euphemism you want to use, I like Washington State.
Ute?
I agree with every point you made, Moen. This is everything. This is the Super Bowl for Washington State. They're going to give it everything, spill their guts on the field. I just have a hard time seeing them lose this football game. It just means too much after all the history and everything that's happened over the last year and a half to the Cougars. This is a punch back to the Huskies. So I see Washington State winning outright.
I went with the points. So this is where I disagreed with myself. So when I wasn't picking with college football rivalries picked, I picked Washington straight up, right?
Yeah.
But I think Washington State can easily, what is that? 2 field goals, right? And I think they can cover that. So it's going to be a tough battle, but tonight I want to go with Washington State.
Oregon and Oregon State. Oregon State is a 16.5 point underdog at home.
This makes no sense, guys.
Everybody picked Oregon State at 16.5 points. I can't trust this Ducks offense to make up that difference. I mean, every game they've played has been basically a 1-score game, and they were ranked number 3 to start the season,
which is crazy as we look at it now. That's why the early picks, we shouldn't even have a stupid poll till maybe week 4 or 5 at the earliest.
Journalists need jobs.
Yeah, I know. Ute, what do you think?
I can see Oregon State win this game outright. Like it's going to be absolutely crazy in Corvallis. It's hard to win there in Corvallis anyway. Guys, like there's chainsaws going off everywhere. It's absolutely nuts. It feels like a house of horrors out there, and like it's going to be just rocking. Like they want this so bad. Oregon State wants this so bad. There's no way that Oregon's going to win by 3 possessions in this football game. And I could see Oregon State really play a physical brand of football with Oregon and really make them lick their wounds. And I see Oregon State possibly winning outright.
If the spread was 9.5 points, I would have taken Oregon. I don't think it's going to be as close as you guys maybe imagine. I know Oregon State is definitely pumped up. They're going to be amped up to come in there. I've been in the stadium, but it was way back in the 90s. So there's been a bunch of retrofits, so I can't really speak to how loud it is there. You can. But I do know this, that if you're looking for motivation, this is another out-of-conference game, and Oregon is building up for the Big Ten. It's quite possible they turtle this game and just say we're going to dominate the Big Ten after and not worry about one out-of-conference loss. So Oregon State's most motivated. I always go with most motivated, and points help.
Yeah, a lot of points.
Yes.
There's a lot of points.
Next game up, we've got Notre Dame at Purdue, the battle for the shillelagh.
Right.
What the heck is a shillelagh? I have no idea what that is.
It's a stick that Irish people use to hit people.
Yeah, it's an
really?
Irish thing. Yeah.
Remember gangs in New York where the guy has the notches on that club? That club is a shillelagh. So here we go. I like Purdue in this game at 11.5 points. I don't know who Notre Dame's starting at quarterback now. Leonard Riley or Riley Leonard might be sitting. So, and Hudson Card from Purdue is the real deal, guys. The kid can sling the ball all over the field. He can put up points in bunches. It's all going to come down to that Purdue defense. If that Purdue defense can hold tough and keep the running backs for Notre Dame, which are the two best weapons for Notre Dame, are their running backs. If they can keep them in check, I think Purdue keeps it close and might actually win the game.
Yep.
There will be blood for the Irish. The Irish are going to come out pissed off for losing last week, and they're going to absolutely house Purdue in this game. I don't think it's going to be close.
Really?
No.
I see a team that's completely demoralized. I see the opposite. I understand what you're saying. Definitely they have motivation. That loss last week was earth-shattering, program-shaking type of a loss. And they could come back, chewing nails, spitting bullets. That is possible. They come out and just put the hammer down on Purdue. I just don't see that. I see Purdue's got actually a decent team. And the team last week that they lost to, I would say them playing both straight up, that would be a good game. So I don't see any reason to. 11.5 points is crazy number. So I just took it because of the points.
Okay. Moving on, probably what everybody here is most interested in. We've got a lot of West Virginia fans.
Yes, sir. Let's go.
Backyard Brawl, West Virginia at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is a 2.5 point dog in this game. All three of us have got West Virginia. The only guy who picked Pitt, and who you can send your hateful comments to, is
That's rock and roll.
Yes.
Not us. We didn't. We didn't.
We didn't do it. I think West Virginia wins by at least a touchdown.
West Virginia is going to win this game. It's a touchdown to 10 points and eat spit, Pitt. So go ahead.
Oh, wow. Field goal isn't much, and I think that West Virginia has something to prove. On the flip side, if Pitt wins, Neil Brown's back on the chopping block. I think he could go from way down here to way up here, back down to way down here pretty quickly. So
no doubt about it. Yeah, Neil Brown is on the chopping block. If West Virginia loses this football game.
If you watched any of that Pitt Cincinnati game, Pitt looked terrible for 3 quarters. If they come out and play 3 quarters like that against West Virginia, that deficit might be higher than 21. They might not be able to come back in the 4th quarter. I think West Virginia is going to roll them.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yes. Yeah, I agree with you.
Backyard Brawl. Whoop, whoop.
Let's go. So quickly, before we get back to comments and the rest of the show, what's your takeaway from this week? I'll start with mine. Rivalries this early in the season, before I hated it. I hated it. I'm a rivalry guy. I'm a tradition guy. End of the season. That's when you want to play your rival. Richland Bombers, I always wanted to play Kamaikan Braves last game of the season. So that's where we're at right now. This second, though, I like this slate of games. early in the season, we always have these tepid non-conference FCS. To have this amount of action early in the season, somebody was smart. And I got to believe these guys got together, these broadcasters, and said, you know what? Why not? Why don't we try this? And it helps their out of conference, right? So it just gins up a lot more activity. How often is Missouri and Boston College fans going to run into each other? It's like hardly
Not
ever,
often.
right? So doing this, it gives you a week of engagement. It keeps people on the edge of their seat for how the show's going to go, the game. And then at the end of it, they both look at each other and we go, hey, we got 1.5 million views because we played on the day we normally would do this game. So that's my thought.
Cannot wait for the Civil War game and the Backyard Brawl. Those two games are must watches. And plus, like K-State, Arizona tonight. That's a huge showdown to see who's the supreme Big 12 contender.
Is that an out-of-conference game, you?
It is out-of-conference game, but it's going to show you a lot, both
Right.
teams.
Yeah, so who are we cheering for the conference standpoint?
In that game,
Kansas
whoever you
State,
want.
isn't it?
Right, like it really doesn't matter at this point. They're undefeated teams,
okay.
So like it doesn't. It's 50-50 for.
So there's no advantage
conference
then.
standpoint. No advantage either way.
Okay.
So it's just pick your poison. But we all know K-State's going to blow out Arizona because they're the most overrated team in the nation.
I think, K-State's motivated. Moen, any last words about this week's picks?
No, I like early season rivalries. I like that we're perfecting out of conference rivalries. Again, West Virginia and Pitt need to sit down and figure out how to make that happen every year.
Yep.
Has to happen. I think Notre Dame at Purdue should be every year when Notre Dame joins the Big Ten Conference. So we'll get all this sorted out. But early season rivalries are good, and you got end season rivalries are good. If we can get some middle of the season rivalries, I think it would be even better.
Holy War is in the middle of the season now.
Yeah,
that's true. It's not. Yeah. It's not late in the season.
It needs to be last game. I like the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. I don't know why the Big 12 doesn't take that game and puts a chokehold on it.
Yes.
That's where I would put rivalry games.
Agreed, 100%.
Yeah, and I think your mark will do it. It's just a matter of when, not if. We got a couple keys come in here. First of all, we got our first super chat of the night, Mark Bowman, who's also a member, by the way. A $10 super chat saying tomorrow's game against Troy is critical for McNamara. He either shows he still has it or KF will be forced to make a change at QB. Who's he talking about?
Iowa.
Yeah, Iowa. Okay. But here's the thing, Mark. They need to make a change at the top of the organization. It's a coach. It's not the quarterback. Yeah. It's time for Kirk Ferentz to step aside and let somebody with some youth and maybe get an offensive-minded coach in there, maybe elevate Parker. I don't know, but listen, Brian Ferentz is gone. There's nobody to hang it on now except Kirk. So I think it might be time for him to go.
What is Kirk waiting for? Let's just spend 3 minutes on that. If I was him, I would have left a long time ago.
Yeah, it's hard to hang it up sometimes. I mean, he has love for the Hawkeye program. Like, he's done what he wants to do. I mean, maybe make the playoffs. Like, the playoffs are still in sight, guys. Like, Iowa fans, all's not lost. Like, that game, Iowa State's a good team. They beat you on a last-second field goal by point. Like, the world is not upside down. It's okay. You're going to beat Troy. You're still going to contend in the Big Ten, and you can still get in the playoff. Like, the season is not over. This isn't a 14 playoff anymore. This is the kind of team that could make it into a 12-team playoff. So I don't think we should be slamming Ferentz at this point and stuff. He's a legendary coach. He's got an elite defense. He's going to win a lot of Big Ten games. Mo, the Big Ten ain't great. The middle of the Big Ten ain't great this year. Iowa certainly can make the playoffs still.
Listen, that defense is not what it was last season or the season before. It's lost.
Well, they lost a lot to the NFL.
Iowa State hit them, with a pass that, you had 4 defensive backs back there couldn't stop the kid.
Yeah.
I just don't think that defense is as elite as it was in the past season. So you got to have more balance on offense. And when facing a good opponent, they just didn't have it. They could not get a touchdown.
Time will tell. We know that.
Look, game 1, Iowa won 40-0. Game 2, they lost 19-20. It's not like their defense is hemorrhaging points, guys. They've got Troy this week. They've got Minnesota the week after. So they're probably going to win those 2 games, and they've got Ohio State. They're going to lose that game, but after that, it's very weak Big Ten schedule. Like, this team is going to be a playoff contender. They will. They will.
If it goes to 3 losses, it's quite possible. That's possible. If they play Michigan or Ohio State? Who's their big game? Ohio State. They beat Ohio State.
They play Ohio State. They've got Washington. They've got Michigan State.
That Washington game is going to be a better game than I think we anticipated.
Northwestern, Wisconsin, UCLA, Maryland, and then Nebraska. They miss all the big boys.
Well, Nebraska's back too. I think Nebraska's back as well. But all right, let's talk about Joaquin Morales, our ASU OG. Somebody comes in is always giving us shout outs. I'm going to clap for you today, Joaquin. Thank you so much for all you've done for us, and congratulations on beating Texas State. Congratulations on beating Texas State. I'm sure that was a tough night last night until the final clock went off. So good to have you here. He says, hey, Bomber, Wild Ute Moan, and the College Football Mafia family. Don't forget to smash that like button. Wifey getting another IV line put in for home infusion. Will listen in as I can. Joaquin, thank you so much for everything you do. We really, really appreciate it. All right.
Cheers, Joaquin.
You and we did a sounder, right? Okay, I just want to make sure. Okay, all right. So now we're going to get to headlines and news, and this is fun stuff because we're going to cover maybe stuff that we wouldn't normally be able to talk about. But what do you think's the headline I'm going to start with tonight, guys?
The Pac-12, baby.
Pac-12, baby. Again, Pac-12. Congratulations. Let me bring up my camera so I can my screen so everybody can see what I've been sort of trending on all day. I've made several posts, but every one of them seems to be a little different, but they all come down to this. What do you guys think about this Pac-12? By the way, I need to give credit where credit's due. This is OS Beaver. OS Beaver. In fact, let me get the link, copy it, because I think this is a great little visual, easy way for us to communicate and understand. All right. I just posted the link in there if you guys want to check it out as well. Let's start with you, Ute. What's your first thoughts about this?
This projected conference right here?
Yes.
So you've got Texas State, who's a riser. I like it. UTSA, I don't know if you need to take them both. Tulane and Memphis would be no-brainers. And if you could ever get
USF?
South Florida, then you definitely go after that too. But as we mentioned before, you need more schools to form a pod if you're going to do this, like an East-West pod. So geographically, it's going to be a tough sell, as Moan mentioned, financially. So you need more teams to make this one work.
Okay. What about you, Moan? What do you think?
I hate it. I listen. I think I'm glad the Pac is back. Be a regional conference, guys. Be a regional conference. We don't need these nationwide spanning G5 conferences. It's going to put more strain on your financials than you actually need to have. I love the teams that the Pac got already. I think add UNLV. I think that's a slam dunk.
So why weren't they invited? Let's settle that one right now. Why wasn't UNLV invited?
And it's state politics.
Yep.
The regions, the Board of Regents are trying to tie Nevada Wolfpack with UNLV.
Right.
The Rebels two together, just like we've talked about so much. And there's the politic part of realignment, and you've got to untether. So basically, the Nevada Wolfpack, these Wolfpack backpacks.
Again.
It's the same thing as another.
You can't make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up.
But that's exactly what's going on. And so UNLV needs to detether and stuff and politic and say we are screwed if we don't get into the Pac-12 and do everything they need to do to get into the Pac-12, because it's not advantageous to add them both. All you need to do is add UNLV for the market. You have access to Allegiant Stadium whenever you want. It's no brainer. You do it.
So my first, by the way, OS Beaver does some great graphics, so follow him. I definitely click on that link that gets to this post. But just at first blush, it does. I don't hate it. I think they're missing 2 schools, in my opinion. They need to go 8-8, roughly 8-8, and then have, or 6-6, and then have 2 schools in Texas. That's what I would do. So you get to 16, your regional scheduling, and your national conference. I know Moen doesn't like it, but that's where the money is. You and I both have learned the money's in the East. It's not out West. 3/4 of the country is on the east side of the Rocky Mountains. So just adding schools in those time zones, I know it sounded crazy when I was joking with Moen earlier about this, but in my opinion, if they got 8 and 8 regional and they could basically solve the travel issues, in my opinion, they could get $14-15 million. And another thing, I want to bring this up because I don't want to forget it. There is a little cherry on top to this. I'm going to read this post from Bob Thompson. So everybody listen up. Congratulations to Pac-12 on your revival. Lots of questions on what I would do TV-wise if I was the Pac-12. Some one-time free advice. And they should have been bookmarking this. You see, I've got it bookmarked. I'm going to put this right here. This is the stuff Ute and I have been talking about. And Moen, even though he doesn't do as much realignment in the West, this is so important what Bob's telling everybody here. And it's funny, John Wilner replied to this and said it's free. What did he say? Maybe it's just down here. It was kind of funny. I can't find it. John Wilner made a funny thing saying, yeah, you better be paying attention. All right.
Yeah, listen up.
So one-time free advice. You want any more? Navigate knows where to find me. He is currently a contractor. He's a consultant. So if you don't pay him, he'll give this to you in a paid format. Not everything is going to be linear. What you have with the CW is a one-off. Plan to play on every platform, streaming, linear, over-the-air, cable. It will not only likely increase your revenues, which is what I was saying, but it will also be the smart way to move forward with this new TV world. Number 2, gauge interest and ferret out the pretenders as quickly as possible and concentrate on the contenders. What does that mean?
There's a couple ways to interpret it. It might be just to make sure you're making the right realignment decisions, or else like the other areas, like, hey, just make sure you're with the right TV partners. I would say mostly like probably realignment decisions. That's where I'm kind of going with it. Like, don't just grab schools that don't make sense. Make sure you do your due diligence on these ads.
100%. Moen, do you want to add anything to that?
No, but I will add something to the next.
Go ahead. You can read the next one. Go ahead.
Think outside the box, create new content opportunities, play different days of the week. Don't just do what everyone else does. Don't steal from the MAC.
They're stealing from the MAC.
They're stealing from all of them, Moen. They're stealing from all of them.
This is what it should be. You should have MACtion, and then you can have a West Coast school playing after them.
But maybe they could do a coordination where they don't steal other people's times. I don't know what they're going to do. But I think the MAC, just like everybody else, just like the AAC, they're all on defense watch right now. You guys man the walls. Got to keep the new Pac-12 out. All right, number 4, manage your expectations. This is my favorite. This is what I do for a living. This is what I do for a living is manage expectations.
That's a good life lesson right there. Manage your expectations.
And you are less likely to be disappointed. What does that mean, guys?
Don't think that you're something you're not.
There you go. Stay in your lane, right?
Stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane, but own the lane. Whatever lane you pick, own it. Top to bottom, you can't let anything go. So, yeah, manage expectations, which is what we've been saying to Oregon State and Washington State from the very beginning. Is just keep your head on a swivel, really paying attention. Peek around the corner, by the way. Just really paying attention to everything that's going on and not just get into these silos where you only are looking regionally or you're only doing certain times and days. Those days are gone. Bob Thompson's telling you right here. All right. By the way, this right here, this freebie probably took 15 years for Bob to develop. So if you think this is just something he threw together, here you go. Bob Thompson's on the show next Wednesday, by the way. Number 5, don't try and relaunch the Pac-12 networks as a linear offering. What do you guys think about that? Just go straight direct to consumer.
Yeah, absolutely. It's failed once. Don't try it again. Just leave it alone.
Moen?
Yeah, there's not enough brand value to go linear. So you're a specialist market at this point. You've got to appeal to specialists.
Okay, I think that's very fair analysis. At the end of the day, the Pac-12 networks helped kill the Pac-12. It didn't go out of its way to do it, but it undermined it. and leadership did not utilize the tools they had to the best ability. So anyway, I
An
thought
epic failure, the Pac-12 network. An epic failure. And listen to this, guys. Early on with the development, the Pac-12 could have got private equity involved with that network. They wanted in on it. The president said no to that opportunity. What could have freaking been? It's time to kick that thing, say goodbye to it forever.
Okay. Number 6, you have a first mover opportunity. It won't last forever. Move now. I'll answer this one. On a separate tweet, Bob said, right now, the Pac-12 is at the top of the list for next media evaluations and contracts. The Pac-12 has a 1-year deal with the CW. Or that might be multi-year. I don't want to speak out of school. That might be multi-year, but regardless, they have the ability to do other things with their rights. This is huge, people. If they're the only ones that are going back to market right now, they can beat the Mountain West by 1.5 years. Moen, you guys want to add anything to that?
I think it goes back to make sure you have the right expectations. Like, I'm with Moen that $15 million a year is going to be a little bit too rich for the realistic contract. You're probably looking at around 10 to 11 mil per school per year, realistically.
Okay.
And if you add schools outside of the footprint that don't make sense, it could go less than that. So be wise with your realignment choices. Target in the $12 million range per school and everything, and then go from there.
I think that's probably a better strategy. All I was saying what the top end could be if they had 16 schools, but I agree with you guys. I think maybe a more conservative estimate makes sense. All I'm saying is people on Twitter have been selling, just like they do. They sell crap all the time that we're going to be 18 to 21 million and watch out Big 12. Look, they're playing different games. We're not talking down to the Pac-12 now. In fact, right now, I think we should change the way that we speak about the Pac-12. Instead of the Pac-12 being something that's this dead entity just sort of hanging out that just hasn't gone off the game board yet, you can ignore them. That's not the case anymore. The Pac-12 is vital. It's being aggressive. It's spending its war chest, and it's building for 2026. And if you're a G5, which is now G6, we need to start saying G6. If you're a G5 conference, you got to do everything you can to keep your people in house. If you lose, let's look at these brands. What happens if the Mountain West loses a UNLV?
I don't know what the Mountain West does now.
I know.
They are screwed.
Yes.
I mean, you're going to have a bit of a war chest from the exit fees, but there's no future in the Mountain West.
No.
This just eliminated the Mountain West.
Yes.
What are they going to do? Grab North Dakota State?
They should merge with the AAC once they lose some schools. That's what I would do.
The AAC and the Pac-12 should merge.
Now you're at a 24. What you'd be 32. That's too many, I think.
Because the AAC has I think the media contract is like 8 or 9 million.
It's 9. I looked it up. Yeah.
So I mean, you're right there, a little bit more than AAC. But in range there with some good brands over there. I don't know, but the Mountain West is in a world of hurt.
So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to invite somebody. If you want to join the show right now, let's talk Pac-12. Let's get this done now. If you're watching, Clint Moses, open invitation to you, man. Join us and let's talk about the Pac-12 conference, because I want to know what you guys. I've seen the extremes from Washington, Oregon State fans. I've seen extremes. I love it. I hate it. I'm going to go shoot myself, right? And I don't understand that. To me, they need to be just trying to be in the middle. Let's just go. Let's be something that we are. Because what's the one thing they secured by putting this conference together? They need 2 more schools. Once they get to 8, we know that's going to happen soon. What does it secure for the conference?
Stability.
Okay.
A home.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Moen, do you have?
Yeah, I just wanted to say the Pac are now killers. Welcome to being a conference killer. No more victim mentality. You have drawn blood on the Mountain West Conference. I know it feels good. You like the taste of that blood in your mouth, and you're probably going to go after another conference. One is never enough. You're probably going to take UNLV from the Mountain West, probably UTSA.
Come on, Moen. Don't
keep on killing, guys. It's fun to kill. It's fun to kill conferences, isn't it?
All right, this is what I was going to say, and this is, I think, for all of this, the most important thing is if they get to 8, that they secure that playoff access. They're now in the G6. If they are the best G6, by contract now, the best G6 school is going to go to the playoff. It's not an invite. It's none of that. It's college football playoff, and it's in the contract.
Right. It's G6 right now. We don't know what's going to happen to the Mountain West.
No, I said G6.
Yeah, right now. But if the Mountain West goes away, it goes back down to a G5.
Yeah, we'll have to keep track. Sergeant Pickles, of course, wants to put his opinion out there. Pickles clan is on the move. $5 and contributor, super chat, all of it. I expect an apology about Huskies on Monday. Have a good weekend. Go Dogs. I picked Washington in the college. In the other thing, Pickles, I picked Washington.
Tune in Monday at 8 p.m. because Becky picked the Huskies and I picked the Cougars. So
that'll be fun. That'll be fun. Thank you so much, Pickles. Appreciate you. I believe he's out by Mount Rainier right now. Not the worst place in the world to be. Quick shout out to Jen Knoll in the house. Oh, Jen, I miss you so much. Give me a call. Let's talk. Jen has had some health challenges last little bit. One of the nicest people I've ever met, to be honest. And I just want to give a shout out for all of those of us that have health challenges. Unfortunately, there's a few of us now. Moen's in that club. We've got others. But Jen, it's great to see you. Hope your show's going good. And again, I'd love to talk to you. I know your family's more important, but just let me know how you're doing. Really, I've just been thinking about you. All right, let's see here. All right, next news item. I did Bob Thompson. I did that one. Let's go to the DirectTV standoff. You commented about this earlier, at least the last couple days, Ute. Tell us a little bit about this Pac-12, this ESPN DirectTV thing.
Yeah, so was having a private chat with a Knoll supporter who brought this to the attention. Read this article, guys. This is potentially big news right here. So right now there's a standoff between DirectTV and ESPN, and what the standoff entails and what it could impact is the value of the ACC media contract as far as the ESPN, the ACC network payouts. And really what the fight is over is categorizing and remapping areas where you get higher subscription fees, in-market subscription fees for AACC schools. So, for example, right now the contract language says that SMU, because they're in the state of Texas, although they're in the city of Dallas, gets in-market subscriber rates for all ESPN subscribers in the state of Texas. Everybody, essentially, like in that market. Like that's the idea, is the whole state footprint is added to a subscriber. But DirectTV is pushing back at that and saying only like target areas of like a city and a market should get that in-network subscriber fees, the higher fees that you get paid for it being in-network. And what that all means when you boil it down is that there's a potential for the ACC network to be worth less in the future and earning less than anticipated because of lower subscription rates in market. If this actually happens and this dispute continues and everything, and DirectTV happens to win. And also more impacts on that too is other providers of ACC content might try to force the issue and make the same type of argument that ESPN's making, which could impact the ACC network payouts in the future too. So it's an ominous sign for the ACC network and the ACC because they might be making less money than they thought if things turn that way.
Very good. You want to add anything to that, Moen?
Yeah, DirectTV is now offering customers credits to grab Sling TV. I believe Fubo might be the other one. Simply as another FU to the ESPN giant. So I just want to thank them for that. I think that's a good idea because then once fans get a taste of that, they'll sign away from DirectTV as well. You're basically bolstering your own competition, which I think is a good thing.
This is, we've been saying this for months. We've been talking about what the new contract's going to be for the ACC, the reasons why, and how many times have we been shouted down? How many times have we been ridiculed? Because that absolutely would never happen. Okay? It says it right here. As Florida State and Clemson's lawsuits against the ACC continue to unfold, a significant external factor is has emerged that could reshape the cases. The ongoing dispute between DirectTV and Disney ESPN. DirectTV doesn't want to pay what they're asking.
No.
And it's not going to be
expensive.
the first. Yeah, go ahead.
ESPN's expensive. Like, I think ESPN per package that you have is like almost $10 out of all the costs you pay for DirectTV. It's like $10 worth of it. So like, and if you're in network for a team in the ACC, like it's almost like $1.50 or almost $2 more that's added to you because of that team. If you're out of network, so if you're out of the state footprint for the ACC, it's like 50 cents. So it's pretty substantial on a per subscriber basis. So really, this makes a difference, and this could impact ESPN's decision on renewing the ACC, extending the ACC contract next February, depending on how this thing moves.
So let's get into. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, let's get into the meat of this, because this is a big deal. Florida State and Clemson and the ACC are awaiting an answer to the question: does it still make financial sense for ESPN to continue ACC's contract as is? ESPN has the option to extend the contract, which runs out February 1st. ESPN's decision on whether to continue with the ACC current deal will have ripple effects on Florida State's and Clemson's litigation against the ACC and the conference's grant of rights. The grant of rights makes clear it was created so that the conference could meet its contractual obligations to ESPN for their contract. Florida State and Clemson will then argue if the ESPN agreement is gone, then so too are their obligations. So nothing is set, right? This is just data. This is a really good article. It's well written. In all transparency, it's written, submitted on the Tomahawk Nation, but it's using data that's been publicly available that we've been talking about for months. There's so many numbers in here. Let's do this last one. The ACC network is only profitable due to the statewide carriage agreements that Disney previously forced on cable providers. Former ESPN president John Skipper confirmed ESPN's carriage agreements for the ACC network stipulated an entire state is considered in conference if it contained one ACC school. The ACC network charges a subscriber fee of $1.30 a month if you are considered in conference. That's a surcharge of $1.30. Due to this agreement, cable subscribers in New York City pay $1.30 a month for the ACC network, despite Syracuse being 4 hours away.
Ooh, that's a lot of households, guys. And then, like, if you're out of network, it's 25 cents. $1.30 versus 25. That's a huge deal as far as your profit margins in your business. It's an issue. This is an issue. The ESPN's got to be sweating this out.
Yeah, I don't even know how else you would treat it. At the end of the day, this is another nail. So we've all, we have all kinds of contacts. We talk to people all over. I talked to somebody this week that told me in no uncertain terms is Florida State and Clemson going to settle with the ACC. And likewise, the ACC is going to go to the boards or go to the mattresses, like in The Godfather, and fight to the end for these lawsuits. If that ends up being the case, most other G6 is going to continue to be broken up and bubbling and everything else. But as far as A4 realignment is concerned, it's going to be delayed. It's going to be delayed a while. So I don't know. Do you guys want to add anything else to this? There's no reason to pile on, I guess.
It adds more uncertainty. There's so much already from all angles. It feels like the ACC is getting poked and prodded from every angle imaginable. This is just another one that could rupture things, that disrupts the business of ESPN and the ACC through payouts of the ACC network potentially in the future. It just doesn't look good for the ACC. It's just, when is this thing going to rupture? Is it going to be tomorrow, or is it going to be in 3 years, 5 years?
Right.
But this does impact like the thinking and logic and business behind ESPN extending the ACC media deal in February.
Which is really the bigger question right this second. Yeah.
100%. Yeah, this is like, they need to work this out and understand that, because they're going to be making a lot less money on the ACC network. The ESPN will, if there's not much subscription fees to charge a bunch of households. And that's what we're really talking about. And ESPN has 50% of the profit from the ACC network that they get paid on. It's a huge chunk of how they make money. Seriously, like they're basically operating at a loss on the media payouts, but they're making a bunch of money on the ACC network. That's ESPN's business model.
And it just keeps going. The deeper it gets, the messier it is when you're talking about money.
So you're just like, oh gosh, like if you're ESPN, if the profit there is uncertain for the future, then it's probably unwise to extend.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
How happy was ESPN to find out that SMU was added to the ACC at midnight? How happy was ESPN to find out they're paying for all of the state of California for two schools that draw nothing in media value? How happy was ESPN? So if you're ESPN, that's why I keep saying ESPN's not going to bid against itself. The old ESPN contract is a standalone. The new ESPN is in a different world. The economy's different. The world's different. We had COVID come through, all those other things. They are not equal. People keep equating these two. They're not equal. The world's a different place. So in the dark of night, you add three schools in the two largest population states in the country just to get their subscriptions. You think ESPN was happy about that?
I want to say too, Bomber, just to kind of build off that too, there's been like these disputes. Now, I don't know if it was DirectTV, but somebody else had a dispute with ESPN. And I think that they might have won that dispute, whatever it looked like legally. I do not know. But like where SMU, rather than getting the whole state of Texas, that they got like the extended Dallas area. So these fights have been going on already. Right. And this is just another big fight, right? And the idea is if like DirectTV wins this push, then other providers are going to do the same thing and put the pressure on ESPN to make the same type of offer to them for like, out of network viewing. Like if you're in Amarillo, Texas,
I think they should.
For sure. And and so that's going to decrease your profits and like your revenues you're making, your sales you're making for ESPN. It's just bad business. So not good times. I mean, it seems like a lot of people are going to start losing money in that. And like they're already hemorrhaging a bunch of money at Disney and everything, right?
Right.
It's not good.
There was a comment in here. I don't want to forget it. So Mo, and this is to you from Coy, one of our long-term members, getting to a point where we've got, how many OG members do we have? It's going to be 30 or 40 that have been with us over a year. Coy, it's great to see you. Thank you for your membership. Is the DirectTV situation the same as the Big Ten situation with Comcast Xfinity?
No, because the Big Ten network is just a singular network. The dispute with DirectTV is for every single network that ESPN carries. Eventually, again, you're going to see the same situation. If Xfinity Comcast does not add them to the network, to their local networks, and people want to see those games, they're just going to leave your service to go to YouTube TV, go to Sling, go to Fubo. There are alternatives now to, the cable companies, and DirectTV have had them on this nation for the last 30 years. You could not get another cable company than your local cable company. You could not get another satellite company other than DirectTV. That's changed. Anybody, anywhere can get internet and YouTube TV. Anybody, anywhere can get internet and Sling or Fubo or any of these providers that are out of market. And these providers have less overhead because guess what? They don't have the same amount of hardware out there. They don't have to lay line.
That's right.
They don't have to do all that. They don't have to maintain anything.
Yep.
And the cost of my local cable company would charge me probably about $120 for everything I get, $120 plus for everything I get from YouTube TV. YouTube TV is $74 a month.
I was just going to ask you. So I don't have YouTube TV. I have Xfinity. And right now I'm watching every game with all the services, and there hasn't been a game I've missed yet. Is that a comparable thing? Is the Comcast Xfinity product anywhere close to YouTube?
Well, I have Charter here.
You have Charter cable.
I have Charter Communications where I live, and I use Charter for my internet. It's great internet, but I just get an internet package every month. I don't sign up for TV. I get YouTube TV. It's $74 a month. That includes the taxes and fees. And I've been more than pleased with it. I mean, you can record every single college football game. It's an unlimited DVR. I've got Peacock, which I got Peacock on that Black Friday deal, which was like $20 for the year.
Right.
And that covers all my football. hey, there's not a football game I want to see that I can't see via over-the-air, YouTube TV, or Peacock.
So Bomber, I've had them both. Comcast is easy to use and navigate through, but YouTube TV is basically a supreme product because it gives you 4 games at once. It's like going to a sports bar and watching football games because you can watch 4 at the same time. It's fantastic. It really is.
So this is in Utah. You can get internet from 30 different companies. Comcast gives me a pretty good deal because I've been with them so long. I get internet, and basically they throw sport everything in. I'm doing it all in one, but it's more than Moen is paying. So I'm afraid of getting away from them for internet. Their internet is fantastic. I get gigabit type downloads now. I just don't know how to separate the TV package. And if I can't do it, think of all the other people that are out there that are struggling with these conflicts, right? It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as long as the baby boomers are around, you're going to have cable television.
I like that. Yeah.
You're never going to get away from it. But the fact that there is now more options for people,
right,
that you are not stuck between either an antenna or your local cable TV company. Like, I have an antenna, I can pull over the air networks, which is what I normally do if it's a football game. Like, I watch.
We have that here too. Digital is awesome in Utah.
Yeah. So I watch that over the air, but I mean, there's so many more options right now that you can't afford these messy divorces, spats, whatever you want to call them.
Okay.
It's not good for DirectTV. It's not good for ESPN.
Very
You're
fair.
going to have to come to some kind of arrangement, guys, because the longer this takes, the more people are going to be cutting the cord on DirectTV. You're going to get lower fees out of YouTube TV for ESPN.
I think somebody's doing a DDoS attack on you, Moen.
Why's that?
Because you're coming across like it's 2009.
Do I put the robot voice on?
Well, you sure, go ahead. That's about what it is. By the way, what are you today?
Robot voice.
Moen.
This
Tell us.
is robot.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
well,
creepy.
you do whatever you want. You do you. I don't tell people what. That's pretty crazy. All right. That's basically all the news I wanted to get to. There was one other item that was a follow-up to the lawsuit for Florida State that they filed to say, hey, just end it now. Give us the win. And you're kind of like, what? But Doug Rohan then replied later and said the reason it's taken this long to ask for this summary judgment is because they took all the time they could, up to today actually, to evaluate all those 6 contracts they got from ESPN and the ACC. And he said that's the reason, is they think they have found enough in there to put together to say the ACC doesn't have anything to stand on. Now, of course, even if it did rule, which won't happen for a while, but even if it did rule for the ACC, for Florida State, the very first thing ACC would do would appeal. So this is so far, which is why, getting back to the Pac-12 and the G6 conferences, they've made the decision, they made the strategic decision to go their own way. The UConn thing with the Big 12 was a mess. It made the Pac-12 infatuation look sort of silly. There's a lot of other things going on, and waiting for the ACC to blow up. I think they finally figured out. Somebody told them, "Hey, what are you doing? Just secure your future," which is, by the way, what Matt Lovelace said from Washington State. Bill Farley also said the same thing. Just put your stake in the ground and begin building. Don't wait on other people.
It's a smart move. You can control the situation versus just waiting for something that might never happen or might not happen for years. Like, you can't be a 2-team conference for that much longer.
Right.
So good on them. Good on the Pac-12. I think everybody's happy about that. I sound like the Mountain West schools that are remaining. Utah State.
Yeah,
I
feel really bad for the Mountain West. We should do an ode to the Mountain West sometime in the future. They deserve more time than just this. But right now, today, or actually yesterday, it was dead certain. There's nobody the Mountain West could bring in that would get them up to AAC, which AAC is going to lose some schools too, or just the superior one, which is the Pac-12, which right now, right this second, with only 6 schools, you can't say is the best G6 conference. But if they pick up any 4 or 8 of those schools that we talked about earlier, they definitely would be the best one. There's no doubt about it.
They need to add Gonzaga and St. Mary's for basketball immediately. They can make a pretty dang good conference. I mean, like, yeah, you're talking about a different world a little bit than the Big 12, different payouts and everything. Gonzaga is a absolute gym right there. It's regional.
Right, that's true.
Play. You go after Gonzaga 100%.
They're like 43 miles apart, Gonzaga and Washington State in Pullman. So anyways, that's just my last thoughts on that. Anything else you want to get to for the news items I went through? Can we jump into Q&A?
Q&A.
All right, let's get into Q&A, people. We should have a sounder for Q&A, Moen. Is there anything we can come up with that makes this sound as big a deal as I want to make it? I can't hear you.
Oh, you didn't hear it.
No. Well, you're lagging out.
Denied.
I denied
What
you that.
the heck is that?
I don't even know what's going on.
Denied.
You got a girl under the desk or something we should be aware of?
A couple.
Mo, do you have a girl under the desk?
All right. Well, let's get going. We got a lot of news and a lot of Q&A, and we have a half hour to get through it. So let's jump right in. By the way, let me do a quick reset. You are right now watching the College Football Mafia Network, the Big Freaking Friday show. Every Friday we do this at 7 p.m. Eastern. A little bit later, I will put our schedule up back on the streaming banner, and you'll be able to see when all of our shows are. But the one that we want to talk about right this second is Moen. Are you going to do a Moen After Dark on Sunday?
We are going to do a Moen After Dark on Sunday, and I have an interesting realignment theory that I will present on that Moen After Dark. After this weekend show, though, that'll be the last Moen After Dark for a while as I take over for Pickles for the Big 10 Mafia show and Nate here on the Big 12 Mafia show and Big Freaking Friday show.
And I might as well do this now. We don't have a 40 people watching. It's fantastic. If you're a creator, you want to be a creator, and you have some time, send me a DM on Twitter, please. We're looking for another contributor, somebody that has fun doing this, wants to maybe be on a few of our shows. Certainly the Big 12 is the focus that we're really trying to get from a conference perspective. But if you're good at college football and you know what you're talking about and you don't come off as a complete dick, go ahead and send me a DM and we'll talk. I'd love to do that. I need to do a short video, Moen. Should I just post that on Twitter and just say, hey? Is that the best way to do that?
Say more than just hey.
Well,
I
you know what I
pretty
mean.
short video.
You know what I mean.
You're going, hey.
Okay, all right, dummy. All right, here we go.
Let him cook.
So follow us all on Twitter. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Let's get back to the very first tweet that we always like to get to. If I can find it. Nope, it's gone. Yes, give us the like button. That would be fantastic. Leave us a comment. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. That's really, really important right now. We're trying to build our subscriber base to 5,000. And then make sure you follow us on Twitter. All right, that's enough. Let's start. How about we get creative and start somewhere here in the middle? All right, let's go here. Daniel Gygax, obviously a member. Great to have you here, Daniel. The Will Smith concussion movie did help the NFL change how they evaluate players, but I don't think anything will change as long as the players don't have guaranteed money. Well, it just happens to be that Tua has a guaranteed contract. But what do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I mean, Tua has a lot of money guaranteed, like 120 million guaranteed. So it's changed a lot, though, from where it was to now more guaranteed-based contracts in the NFL. So there's been movement, but this is a physical contact sport. There's no way to prevent concussions unless we wear those bubble stupid helmets like in practice. And I don't even know if I can watch football anymore if there's that on the football field. Those are horrible to watch.
They could make them look better, maybe.
Mega Man, right? Like a bunch of Mega Mans running around.
That's what it is.
It's bad stuff. But I get it. Like, wear that in practice and everything. But as long as you've got fresh uniforms, it's always going to be an issue.
Okay, fair. Moen, you want to comment on this at all?
Yeah, I think the problem is Tua's concussions have been ugly, ugly concussions.
Yeah.
Lots of playing invisible flutes. The thing with his hands seizing up and doing this, that is an ugly, ugly concussion. That makes me worry for his future health care. I mean, granted, he could play another 3 to 5 years, and that could take 10 years off his life. So, We've seen, like Jim McMahon.
Yes, that
So
was
many
that.
contestants.
Jim's sad.
Yeah, it's it's sad. So you want to sometimes you got to protect players from themselves.
Completely agree. Harry Austin, another member, recent member. I think he was gifted a membership. Great to have you here, Harry. It will not be UTSA and Texas State. They will go North Texas, which I think you've talked about North Texas, or Rice. Agree with you, Nathan Campbell. So Nathan, that's what Nathan said. What do you guys think about those schools? I still like UTSA and Texas State, but what do you guys think?
UTSA in San Antonio has a good market there. Where do you guys know where Texas State is located?
Yeah, it's in Austin.
San Marcos, I think, is what they said.
Oh, it
You're in
is.
the
Sorry. San Marcos. That's right. I apologize.
Is that the outskirts of Austin?
I
you might
believe
be
it
right
is.
about that.
Yeah, I believe
If,
it is.
if you can get into Austin, I mean, I would go Texas State all the way. Texas State just seems to have way more momentum than all the other programs and stuff. It just seems like that's a program on the rise, big time.
Yeah, I completely agree. We're checking here. San Marcos is a little town that is north. Oh, it's in between, actually, San Antonio and Austin.
There you go.
In between. So they drive right through it, I believe, if I follow this through. Yep, they drive right through it. So, and I do know that the population, the attendance, how many students they have is pretty high. So
I would go UTSA and Rice.
Okay. Why Rice?
Rice.
Yeah,
Rice.
Rice is the Houston market. It's a huge market. San Antonio is an untapped market.
Okay.
I mean, if you're going Texas State, you're getting San Antonio. You're getting both Austin and San Antonio.
You're hoping you do. You're in between.
There are
If you're
so
going
many.
SA, you're getting San Antonio. You're right in the heart of San Antonio.
There are so many schools playing big time football in Texas.
Yes.
So many, like 10. The players
Rice-
are everywhere. I don't
Rice
know.
is a weird one,
know.
though. I mean,
Yeah.
like academics, it's
It's
great.
a TJ Altimore pick is what it is. All right, let's get off of that. Don't get me started. Friends call me Sean. New pack shouldn't go past Texas. Add North Texas, UTSA, Tulsa, UNLV. I haven't seen Tulsa mentioned a few times. Possibly Utah State and Texas State. That's the max number. Utah State's going to get shafted. Let's just say that out loud.
Yeah.
There's not enough people in Utah to support 3 big time college programs, I don't think.
I agree. I don't think Utah State's going to get in this round for the Pac-12. They're going to get left out. But Tulsa's an interesting one. That seems like it could be a good ad right there. Then
I don't know
UNLV
anything
is the one
about
that keeps
Tulsa.
popping up. Yeah, it's in Oklahoma, right? Like it's heavily populated somewhat,
Okay.
right? Like one of the biggest cities in Oklahoma and everything, historical football success.
Okay.
It just seems like a really good fit for what the new Pac-12 is.
Very fair. Moen, what do you think?
Tulsa is a tough one. I don't know that you would add Tulsa. If you gotta add UNLV. You gotta have Las Vegas. Money in Las Vegas. Championship games in Las Vegas. It just makes the most sense to add
means
Las
more.
Vegas. It just means more. It just means more money. To add that UNLV's got a new stadium too. So I mean,
it just means more.
Yeah, add UNLV, decouple that Wolfpack backpack, add the
There you go.
team, and add a team from Texas if you want to. I think that's getting a little too far east, but hey,
So
if you're going to add any team from Texas, I would still do UTSA.
So what's gonna be the Calford payment for Nevada then? Yeah, go to your conference, but send us $1 million.
I don't know, a couple chips, probably.
Yeah, a couple of gambling chips, a couple
Yeah, I
hundred.
don't know. I think that's a real possibility, guys. It sounds silly, but
It's gonna
Calford
be
happened
real low dollar.
to break
We're not talking.
to break those 2 schools up. It shouldn't be a lot. I agree with you, but anyway, Mountain West getting disintegrated. 1, we've seen coming for a long, long time, and 2, we're sad about it. We can be both those things at the same time. Illini Ted, say a member, obviously. Good to have you here, Illini Ted. Only way I see the pack staying viable with getting East G6 schools is by doing East and West divisions, otherwise keep depleting the Mountain West. We've talked about that. We went through that in detail. Do you guys want to add any more to that?
This is a fun enough exercise that we might need to develop like a Wazzu University model for some of these schools. Like we'll have to see. Like,
That's
I'm
a
kinda
lot
curious.
of schools, though.
There's a lot of schools and everything, but who else is going to be the 4 ads? They need 4 more. They need to get 10 schools, right?
You think 10's the number?
10 to 12, at least.
Yeah, I think that it minimum has to be 12, but I don't know.
Yeah, UNLV is the ad. That's a no-brainer. You
Okay.
do it, and then after that, it's a little bit more hazy.
Okay, Moen?
Gonzaga for basketball.
Oh yeah, Gonzaga, right? Moen again. Is there anything else you want to say about this?
You stop at 10. You don't need to split that money any more ways.
Okay.
I don't think there's any 2 teams that get you more money that makes it worthwhile.
USF and UTSA, I think, are eyeball money opportunities. I could be wrong. Let's jump ahead here. Nathan Campbell says, Bomber, are y'all picking Oregon State to win at Oregon because the head coach is gone? Has nothing to do with the coaches. Really nothing to do with the players. It's how motivated Oregon State is. That's all I can say.
Chainsaw, baby. I'm going to chainsaw the Ducks.
Yeah. And you guys want to add anything to that?
Go Oregon State.
All right. College football rivalries says spread picks have definitely been hard this season. They're different for sure. They're absolutely different. I don't know. Everything is different once you start paying attention, and then stuff flies by. Now everything is attention. If everything's important, nothing's important. So let's see here. Who did I miss? 2 super chats, Moen?
You got 3 super chats waiting.
I do, down at the bottom. Sorry, I was up looking at the others. I'm sorry about that.
I know.
Ryan Willie, $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Win or lose, I'll be drunk, Evil Badger. I have a DD for tomorrow, except for my power chair. What do we?
Tell them to strap that sucker on the roof, Ryan, and ride home, and hopefully you're victorious and you're drunkenly celebrating.
What's DD?
Designated driver.
Okay.
Designated driver.
We don't drink around here and drive. So that's a
we don't drink and drive, but we like to have fun. And for your sake, Ryan, I hope you have a lot of fun and watch the Badgers beat the Crimson Tide, because I'll have a lot of fun just watching that on my end, and I know you'll have a lot of fun. So,
if it's the 3rd quarter and they're leading and jump around comes on, get the seismographs out.
Hey, Moen.
That place is going to be shaking. Yeah.
Do you want to put the phone lines up? Oh, we already have it up.
Oh,
all right,
I
we're
already
going to
put the
invite
phone
everybody.
lines up.
I see it. You changed it. You're ahead of me. Let's see. Earl Carr, $2 super chat, says football related, sending well wishes to Cam Rising. Yeah, there was some bad. Dion bought in. He got trolled. Dion got trolled over the week. It was kind of, I didn't like it at all. Wasn't funny. Anyway, heartfelt.
Cam Rising's fine. He has a laceration on his finger. He's not going to play. They're sending him out versus Utah State just to make sure his finger's fine for Oklahoma State. It's all about that Oklahoma State game in 8 days now?
Yeah, just a week away. Becky gives us a $2 super chat to say, rumor is College Football Mafia is noting the Pac-12 next. What is she saying?
She should read moving the Pac-12 next.
Oh, moving the Pac-12. Okay. Well, Becky, you've got a lot of inside info on the Pac-12 that we don't have. Call in, or here's the link. Join us and tell us what the inside scoop is, because you've been telling us on Twitter and we're like, what? Really? So come on and tell us what's going on. Anybody else can call, by the way. Moen's got the phone lines finally working. Call that number, 801-899-6203, and join us and talk to us for a minute. You guys have all been asking for phone call ability for months. There it is. All right. Let's get to some more of these chats. TF Williams, latest update. KU 17, UNLV 6.
Whoa. Jayhawk. Give them the Jayhawk squawk, Moen. Give them the Jayhawk squawk.
Okay. We need a dun 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 from The Price is Right, Moen. Can you write that down? Get on that, would you? That's it. There we go. That should be higher on the list. I love that sound.
That's good stuff, Moen.
Sooner in Texas. Good to see you, Sooner. Just give us the win. That kind of reminds me of Colorado. Which one?
Yeah, so Oklahoma versus Tulane. Just give the
right.
win, baby.
Yeah, we're only talking against the spread. You guys know that, right?
Call from
Becky.
Yay, Becky.
Becky.
Hey,
All
Becky.
right, Becky, you're online.
What? Well, hi, everyone.
Hey.
Tell us what we don't know, Becky.
Okay. So I put it out there, you guys, but essentially what I've heard, they're only going to go to 8. It's going to be a very short-term 8, but they only want to get to 8. So you can try to figure out who the other 2 will be.
Okay.
The goal is Texas, state of Texas.
Okay.
That
So
is their
they've got
goal.
6 now.
Unless
You're saying they go Texas
now,
next?
they have to have 8. They have to have a bare minimum of 8 to get to the CFP.
I don't think she can hear me, Moan.
She can hear you.
Okay.
I can hear you.
All right.
Hey,
So
Becky, so what are the Texas schools that are in consideration?
Right now it's 4. Rice is nowhere near one of them.
Yeah, right.
It's UTEP, Texas State, UTSA, and North Texas are the 4.
there you go.
UTEP maybe, from what I've heard, was maybe a target of the Mountain West. It probably already was. Like no Rice, no Sam Houston, anything like that. They really are interested in UTSA and Texas State for the reasons you guys said. The market.
Yeah.
They get a little bit. San Antonio is not like the biggest market, but it is a large populated area. Like that is a big city. I don't know. People like San Antonio is huge, like population wise. But it does bring some media eyeballs into Texas, and they like it for the recruiting aspects of it. Specifically, Washington State. A lot of people don't know Washington State recruits Texas pretty well over the years. They
Right.
have. So,
Okay.
but the six schools, so like the new 4 actually have voting rights and things. Like
Did
Yeah.
they really?
Yeah, they did. They gave them. That's one of the conditions. Yep.
they had that was like one of the biggest obstacles was those 4 wanted to have a say on who was next, and they gave it to them. So those 4 will, along with the other 2, will decide who the next 2 schools are, and that's the biggest thing. They have to figure out the next 2 because in order to qualify for the CFP,
Yes.
they have to have the 8,
Yeah.
and they have to, in order to even be a conference, they have to be at 8.
Yes.
So it's a very big deal for them because there's no independence that can really come along because UConn that would be way too far out, and they're not exactly happy with UConn right now. Which we can totally get into that. That was
Not tonight.
getting that information.
Not tonight. We'll
Not
do that
tonight.
a different night.
Yeah. But yeah, Texas State and UTSA seem to be the top 2 from what I was hearing, along with North Texas. And then lastly would be like UTEP. The other thing is they probably will not go past the state of Louisiana. And little birdie told me that USF may have applied.
Wow.
That does
Like,
not surprise me. That does not surprise
Really?
me. No.
They're using they are going to go back to the schools that did apply to the Pac-12 prior.
Right.
They are going to go back through those and see if those schools are still interested. And they can't do anything yet until the 4 have a chance to analyze those prospects. So it's going to be like a little bit of like we have to wait a little while. But from Washington State's perspective, because that's where my source is, they're thinking that the big key here is one, we need a conference that will always compete at the top. We want to be one of the 5. So they want a conference that the champion could take a loss potentially and still get into the CFP.
Mm-hmm.
They want to basically not have a situation like last year where Liberty got into if the playoff for last year, it would have been Liberty in the playoff. And if we all recall, Liberty had like, what was it, like 130th ranked schedule or some crazy thing like that. A really bad schedule. They want a school. They want to add schools that their champion could take the L against like a lower tier Power 4 and still have a shot at the playoff. That's what they're trying to build. They want the top of the top, but they also want to make sure that they're hitting media markets because they have to maximize the value.
Right.
They want.
Becky, what's the deal with UNLV?
Trying to get.
What's the deal with UNLV? I mean, we've speculated it's just because of the regents with Nevada and the politics in play, but do you know anything about UNLV? That seems like a no-brainer ad.
I know everybody says UNLV because they're in Vegas. The prevailing thought is you don't need UNLV to be in Vegas. They're not the most popular. They're not even like the top 10 team in Vegas. They're not that popular.
Well, I mean, they got all
they
the
do have
professionals.
following in Vegas.
Yeah.
And they have a great stadium. Have you guys ever watched a game with UNLV in that stadium? Empty.
No.
It's an NFL stadium. It's a great stadium, but it is empty. Like 60,000 seat stadium. They probably have like 8,000 in there sometimes. But they do believe like the thought is Vegas, UNLV they'll get a look. They're one of the ones that are getting a look. But that's why you saw the 4 that they chose. I mean, if we're going by market size, UNLV beat, 2 of the, beat basically 3 out of 4. Colorado State's near Denver. So
yep.
they've got their market. And San Diego is like almost equal-ish. But definitely beats Boise and it definitely beats Fresno. So that's why you look at those and you're like, well, why were those the 4 that were picked? Those are the 4 that draw the most eyeballs. And, Colorado State last year drew huge eyeballs. They'll probably draw huge eyeballs this weekend against Colorado.
Yes.
Like for some reason, I don't, what was that? That game was like ridiculously rated last year, which is insane to even talk about. Like, I don't know how, but those are the 4. And if you look, those are the ones that don't really show up on Time Warner. I think Colorado State's the only one that does like more than once.
All right, Becky. Well, we appreciate your phone call.
Yeah.
Thanks, Becky.
Yeah.
Thank you, Becky. I will see you on Monday, correct?
Yeah, I'll be there this Monday. Oh my gosh. If I have to have another 2-hour meeting, I'm going to like puke.
All right. Well, tune in Monday on the Big Ten Mafia for myself and Becky. We'll be breaking down all the week 3 action in the Big Ten and previewing week 4. Thanks for the call, Becky. Much
Thanks,
appreciated.
Becky.
Yeah.
Thanks, Becky.
You're welcome, guys, and go Huskies.
She was here and didn't talk Apple Cup at all. So there's confidence right there.
That's true.
There
but-
is certainly confidence.
She did make a very good point.
What's
The
that?
phone system works.
Sort of.
Moan, let him
No, it doesn't work for Nate.
Now,
because
I
Nate-
think, so what we should say is the phone system works for Moen.
It works for Moen and it works for you.
Did it
I
work for
think
you?
Nate-
Yeah, she heard me.
Okay, well, it was like 3 or 4 second delay for me, so
Oh, okay.
it wasn't
Well, I think
practical.
that's
But
just-
I'll type questions to you guys. You
Okay.
guys can ask.
I'm just going to say that's on Nate end. I consider the phone system working.
Okay, so this is what we call MVP, minimum viable product. The minimal viable product is Becky made a phone call and Moen answered it.
I'm going to say that Moen is the MVP. and I will
Okay.
take that.
All right. Well, there you go. All right. So we got about 15 minutes left. If you want to be part of the show, and I've got way too many comments to say we can get to any more, just new ones. A bunch of starred comments we just haven't gotten to yet. But if you want to be on the show, make it a super chat, and we will definitely read that. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. We'll get to there. So let's start working backwards from some of these newest ones. Daniel Gygax, again, valuable member. Moen, true, but USF would be a backfill into the ACC, and travel is a lot easier. Moen.
That is very true, but you're assuming that the ACC is blowing up right away. If you're USF and you don't know the East, you think this is going to be the most powerful G5, you want to get your hat in the arena. So the grass is always greener on the other side. I think if UCF did apply, that is just simply they see the writing on the wall. They want to be in the most powerful G5.
You?
100% agree. If USF applied, that's pretty wild stuff. I never would have thought that would have been the case. You have to ask yourself, is Memphis trying to get in? Is
Yes.
Tulane trying to get in? Like,
Yes.
and they're building something here. Like, serious kudos to the Pac-12. They added some. This is a fantastic move for the Pac-12. It really is. Like, and if you get more big-time brands, like, I get it, Moan and everything, going cross country is not ideal. If there's some way to work that out to get to a 12-team conference with the best of the best, going to make a Frankenstein conference with the best brands in G5, that might be viable. That might be something you want to consider at least. And like the fact that there's demand is pretty cool. And so we'll see what happens with Memphis, South Florida, Tulane.
I posted the link to this in Twitter. Go to it. Make it if you're a Pac-12 fan, make it your background. Put it on your phone and your computer. If you guys could pull this off with two other brands that we're not going to talk about right now because they aren't on this graphic, frankly, I think the most powerful G conference. And when you're looking at the G6 now, and maybe when those other schools leave, Mo, and you're right, there's more consolidation and maybe the Mountain West disappears or maybe something happens to the Southland Conference. I don't know. But that is possible. All right.
Wouldn't it be the most bizarre thing if South Florida's in the Pac-12?
Yeah.
Then you've got Stanford and Cal in the ACC.
In the ACC.
It's so bizarro.
Sagebrush Brown, this is my sister Shelly. Good to see you, Shell. Love that Becky joined. Go ladies. Yes, sir. You'd like Becky, Shelly, if you ever met her. She's in Seattle. Super smart. Love having her as part of the team.
The most important thing to take away from that, Sagebrush Brown, is that the phone systems do work.
She could call in. Shelly, call in.
Yeah, your brother's fault that he can't. His microphone's not going well over the line.
I'll go on mute. You guys would have more fun talking to her without me. I can tell you that. She's way smarter than I am. Mr. Ed Wayner, another member, says Jaden Daniel threw an interception. UNLV capitalized. Now the score is KU 17, UNLV 13. What's the time, Ed? Give us a time on that score.
It's halftime.
I think that's
Is it halftime?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sooner in Texas, I'm not sold on the idea that the new Pac-12 will be given P4, P5 stats. They won't.
They won't be. Yeah.
Nobody. Yeah. I don't care what you read on Twitter. That's not happening. G6 is where it's at. Most powerful G6 is the goal. Earl Carr, good to have you here, Earl. Go BYU. Go Cougs. There is also a Roku. I think you can get ESPN through them. Roku.
There you go.
Well, Roku, you can get you can get YouTube TV on a Roku. That's what's funny. There's that, and then there's that. Jim Williams talked to us about this last time we had him on. I need to get him back on, and he's telling me that they have these channels now that are on demand, that they're just streaming on your TV. You don't have to even do anything. It's just sitting there in the window, and you could put YouTube shows on there like us. There's other things you can do with that. Why not do a partnership like that? Dual broadcast your games, like to the gas stations. I know it's a joke, but if they're paying you money to do that for advertising, why not? Who cares? You just want people watching you.
If you're at a gas pump, you can call us at 801-899-6203.
All right. Marcus Williams checks in, says, "Hey, y'all. Good to see you, Marcus. It's been a minute. Valuable member of the Mafioso. Love to have you here." I didn't see a comment.
Go
so if you have a
Blue.
comment, Marcus will read it. Yeah, go Blue. Piss off Moen. Daniel Guyaks, I like St. Mary's campus. So I don't believe in basketball-only ads at this time. Ute, what do you think?
I think that at this point, you do
Beggars can't be choosers.
I think that St. Mary's and Gonzaga are the two that you go for in basketball, and you add basketball only. If they're willing, because it will lift the media contract on the basketball side. The football is not going to get a ton, right? Like we talked about, like around 10 million.
Right.
But can you get a few million from the basketball side too? So it has to be in consideration. I mean, the Big 12's considering Gonzaga.
Right.
I don't think they're going to ever do it, but they were in consideration.
No. Moen, you want to add anything to this basketball-only idea?
I like Becky Go Huskies super chat here.
Oh, okay,
The most
another one.
important part is Becky was on a show, Moen. but she was on a show because Moen fixed the phone lines.
Oh Lord.
Let's remember here.
I
This
didn't know I was
isn't a-
creating a monster with this whole thing. Thank you,
Let's-
Becky, for the super chat. Thank you very
Thank you
much.
for the super
Appreciate it.
chat, Becky. I will give you a drunk Joe for that one.
Okay.
Less about the team struggling.
Rock and Rant, obviously one of our contributors here on the show, a very valuable member of the Mafioso for us. Glad to have you listening, Rock. I think you're probably driving home. Maybe you're home by now. West Virginia threw me off the bandwagon versus PSU, and not sure if I can climb back on. I'm hurting, dog.
I'm hurt, dog.
Yeah.
Get back on, Rock and Rant. Get back on.
We'll see. I'm a wait and see
I
right now
trust
with
the
West
Mountaineers.
Virginia.
I trust them. They're going to get it done.
Tony Lawson, good to see you here, Tony. Don't besmirch the MAC. They're giant killers. We never said they weren't giant killers.
They're better than Notre Dame. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Let him cook. Let him cook now. Let him cook. I said let him cook.
Tony knows Maction. It's all about the Maction, people.
You guys are just
Moan, you love the
pandering.
Mac.
You're pandering to Moen right now. You are absolutely
Yes,
pandering
please
to Moen
continue
right
to
now.
pander and feed my ego.
That is crazy talk.
It is much needed.
You came here for other things. All right, there we go. Tempest says, my predictions, Pitt, sorry, West Virginia fans. Oregon State, upset alert. Washington and Purdue, Notre Dame was awful against NIU.
Telling you guys, Notre Dame, they're going to blow the house off Purdue. It's going
I'm
to get
telling
ugly
you right
early
now,
and often.
I
If
don't
Purdue
know.
wins that game, I don't know. I might get arrested for streaking. I might.
Oh my gosh.
If Purdue wins that game against Notre Dame, nothing would make me happier in this world than a 1-2 Notre Dame.
Wow.
I would like that too, actually.
Okay. There's no reason for streaking. I don't know what that's about. You live in
Well,
the
we
forest or
streak
something,
live
don't
here
you?
on the College Football Mafia Network. So if you want,
TF Williams says, I live in a very rural area, so using wireless Verizon for internet and streaming services, luckily fiber will be here first of the year. If you can get access to fiber, get it.
Fiber.
Default.
So good.
Always the choice. Let's see. I had another one here. David Frame says West Virginia has horrible internet in most of the state because of our mountains.
yeah,
Really?
Utah's filled with mountains, and our internet's
You got to
fantastic.
get the fiber.
it's hard in Appalachia.
Why is it
Is
hard
that-
in Appalachia?
Is that a pun?
No, it's like I had to pay $3,000 to get cable internet.
It's hard in West Virginia.
It's hard in Appalachia.
Appalachia is even better.
Appalachia.
That sounded like a drop to me. I don't know. What did that sound
I
like?
don't
I didn't catch it.
It's hard. It's hard in Appalachia. Anyway.
All right, let's put this on.
Let's go get drunk.
Okay. Talk about going off the
Moan's
rails.
on a roll tonight.
All right,
Let
we
him
got
cook.
6 minutes, people. 6 minutes. We're dialing it down here. Coy says, is the DirectTV situation the same as? Oh, we already did that one. Thank you. Let's see. Jimmy Outson. Good to see you, Jimmy. I don't recognize you, but welcome to the show. Make sure you subscribe. Come back again. So California and Texas are ACC states now. Ute.
Absolutely. California and Texas are ACC states, and Florida's about to be a California state, West Coast state. Given the movements right now in the Pac-12, it could happen. Yes, we're living in that world. It makes zero sense. And
Nothing
ACC,
says Atlantic coast like San Francisco.
like the Pacific Coast. Nothing says Atlantic coast like the Pacific Coast.
Unbelievable. He follows that up with "Go Cougars." That's Washington State side.
Yeah.
Down with those puppies. Thanks so much for being here, Jimmy. Really appreciate you. Another member that I think now we can call an OG. I think maybe 5 or 6 months running. Jen, we love you so much. Gave us a bunch of hearts back. Just take care of yourself and your kids, man. Totally cheering for you if you
And
need
Jen,
anything.
don't Memphis. Don't you live in Memphis? Do you know how much crap you're going to get if FSU loses to Memphis? Don't do it. Just take care of business.
Wow. Okay. David Frame says if the ACC breaks up, I would say Stanford, Cal, and SMU would end up in the Pac-12. I would say I don't know. Maybe. I think at this point SMU might get dropped again. I don't know.
he could be right about this. The question is, like, would Stanford capitulate to get in the same academic
Right.
conference as Boise State?
Right.
I don't think so either.
I think it's questionable. I don't know. I know this. Stanford does not want to be in the same conference as Boise State or
Yes.
UNLV
Or BYU.
or what BYU's not on.
I know. I'm just saying all the people at
Yeah,
Stanford.
there's a reason why the Pac-12 isn't still around is because they totally put down schools that would have helped them.
Or any of the
Online.
Big Ten schools, by the way.
Yeah. Let's see here. Joaquin Morales, I'm going to get back to this. Is that thank you so much, post. Make sure everybody gives us that like button. Smash that thing down. And yeah, thanks again for everything you do for us, Joaquin. Antoine Code says Oregon is not dominating the Big Ten. They will lose on Friday night at Purdue.
I am the man. My milk is delicious.
He is
that-
delivering the milk. Good job, Antoine Codes. Hope you're feeling better, dude. Keep dropping that milk on us.
Is this one of your trap games you talked about when we made our picks, Moen?
No, I think Oregon State is going to win this game.
No.
Not
Oregon and Purdue.
At Purdue.
Oregon
Oh,
and Purdue. Yeah.
Gotta be next week.
Ooh, this is the spoiler maker game. This is
That's
right
what I'm
after the
saying.
Ohio State game.
That's why I brought
Yeah.
it up. Yeah.
That's going to depend on whether or not Oregon wins. If Oregon wins that Ohio State game, this is a trap game.
That's
If
what
they
I
lose, it's just a regular game.
Okay.
Makes
Yeah.
sense.
I remember you saying that. I just didn't want it to go by without your expert
Yes.
opinion there.
Remember, keep feeding the ego. Feed the ego, people.
David Frame says the noise is loud in West Virginia wanting Neil Brown fired again already? 2 games? Pitt is a must win for West Virginia.
It is. And you've got KU coming up. I mean, like, you've got to win these games. If you lose 3 games early this season, Neil Brown's gone.
What?
I'm
You
serious.
think it's
Like,
going to be like that?
they wanted
Wow.
him gone. They
Like,
had a good
2
season
years
last year, the year
ago.
before.
Yeah,
like, he was
2 years
supposed to be
ago.
at the door. He was like
Yeah,
basically Billy Napier level.
he
on
was.
the team.
Yes.
So I mean, he's still iffy.
Okay. That's a quick trigger, I think. I think it might have bought him another year. Now, if he goes 0-4, I could see that. Hey, what are you doing? You're not driving. I was just going to do that.
Oh,
Go ahead,
okay.
Moen.
Well,
Go ahead,
I
Moen.
figured
ahead,
you were
Moen.
way up on the list here.
No,
Ryan
I had
Miller,
gone to
the
the bottom.
Evil
I'm
Badger.
teasing.
Purdue will upset Notre Dame 45-31.
Woo!
Wow.
What?
Georgia Tech.
Ryan.
I consider that organic.
Georgia
Georgia
Tech.
Tech. Yeah, okay. Keep going. That's it.
Good job, Brian. Let me give you a sounder here. I think that is hot, hot, hot.
Yeah. That is definitely hot. That is throwing down the gauntlet for sure. Becky follows up another super chat for $2. Most important part is Becky was on show, Moen.
Yeah,
it
we already
straight.
did. We already did this one, but I would just say she was on a show because.
Oh,
Moen's-
sorry. I thought it was a different one we did. My bad. Daniel Gagax, why would USF leave the AAC? It would be even money and a lot more travel. My answer is because I think eventually the Pac-12 is going to be the G5 conference, the
Yeah.
default, G6 conference. You get enough brands in there. You get 16 of the best G5, the best of the rest, literally conference. Everybody else is going to fade away. That's my opinion.
I think the G5 conferences have to come to the kind of same agreement that the Big 10, Big 12, and SEC have, where you're going to need a West Coast G5 conference, a Middle of America G5 conference, and an East Coast G5 conference.
They should have an
For
alliance.
G3.
I think it's
They
just
should
gonna be
have an
one
alliance,
conference,
guys. Those alliances work real well.
but- When you first said that, I was thinking something else in my brain. Then you said it again. I'm like, oh, wait a second. This sounds familiar to me.
There was regional conferences.
Oh my gosh.
Backstabbers.
It's
Big
just
10 backstabbers.
20 years ago, if you knew this was the future, the world would be upside down.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely upside down. All right. I think that's going to be it. We're going to end with, let's see, from College Football Rivalries. Good to have you here, man. Earlier, he said, Wazzu, go Wazzu. Yeah, Washington State. I've had YouTube TV for over 2 years now. It's great. So there you go, Moen. Somebody else stroking your ego. All right. It's great. I want to thank everybody for joining the show that was calling in. That would be Becky. Everybody who's donated money, that's even more important. We use that to keep the lights on. Thank you. Thank you very much for all the super chats. Our new member, let's do that again, Moen. Who's our new member? Let's see here.
Our newest member was
Harry Austin.
Harry.
Became
Gonna give you a clap in again.
The San Antonio Football Club. Thank you, Harry. It's much appreciated. Welcome to the family. You don't have to burn a saint or anything. We'll just accept you.
And if you're new here, haven't heard it before, after the show and you're watching football, scroll over and watch the Wild Ute Universities. All the videos that have been created that are members-only videos, shows, special features, everything is on there in that library for, what is that, the community tab on the main page. Click on that, and if you're a member, man, you have access to so much stuff. It's really fantastic. All right, you, last words.
Every man a Wildcat. That means K-State pounding Arizona 14-7 right now. K-State's driving the football. Going to put the Arizona Wildcats where they belong in the loss column.
Okay. Moen?
Every man a mowing.
I don't know how we took this left turn, but we're here somehow. I want to thank everybody for watching. I know everybody's doing other things. People are scattering. Not many are watching live right now. But if you are live, if you have been here, again, thank you so much. We appreciate it so much on a big freaking Friday show that for us is a party. So I hope you guys had fun. Other than that, unless there's any last words, we're going to get out of here.
Let's do some programming notes here real quick.
Yeah, go ahead. Do it.
This Sunday at 7 p.m., Mowing After Dark. Monday at 8 p.m. we have the Big 10 Mafia show. And then Tuesday at 8 p.m. we have the Big 12 Mafia show. So if you're new here, you just subscribe. Make sure you keep those times in mind. We will break down everything on those shows. So tune in.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Moen. Thank you, Ute. You guys have a good weekend. Utah's got to win, right, Ute? That's the bottom line.
Got to win.
Got to win. It's tough to win up in Logan. I know that.
It is.
And go Cougs. That's what I'm going to say. Everybody have a great weekend. Stay safe. If you've been drinking, do not drive. And then just be a part of the family. Become a part of the mafioso. We love you. We appreciate you. And we're here for you. So everybody have a great weekend. Stay out of trouble. Peace.